I'm going to review with you the three forms of the linear equation. You need to have a piece of graph paper with you. We're just going to go through each one. They are in the slides just ahead of this one in the pair deck. So if I had the equation y equals 2/3 x minus 4, that is called my y-intercept. It's where it touches the y-axis. It would be the point 0, -4. This is called my slope. It's just the number 2/3. If you're asked to name the slope, just a number, don't include x. This is telling me to rise 2 and run 3. So make an x and y axis. 4 is where it needs to touch that y axis up. And then it needs to go up 2 and over 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then you put your line in. This line has a positive slope. You can tell because it's pointing upward, but the number in front of x is also a positive number. Slope-intercept equation. Now the next one is called standard form. Standard form would look something like 3x minus 4y equals 24. Oh, 24, yep. If I do standard form, and I can tell it's standard form because x and y are on the same side, I usually do that thing where I cover up and divide. Covering up is like plugging in 0 for y. So I get 3x, I zero out y, equals 24. This is going to give me my x-intercept because x is still there. When I want to find my y-intercept, I zero out x, I cover it up, and I get -4y equals 24. You divide. My x-intercept is 8, and my y-intercept is -6. So when I go to make my graph, it's going to cross the x-axis at 8 and the y-axis at -6. So I need the space for the negatives. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, and 8. 2, 4, and 6. And then throw in your line. Now, when you write an equation like this one, you can't see the slope. The slope isn't one of the three numbers in the equation, but you can always find it. You could isolate y to find it. If you remember, you could always use -a over b. That will help you find your slope. Wait. Yeah, -a over b. That is how to find your slope too. And if you use this for your slope, by the way, the number in front of x is a, the number in front of y is b. That's c. That is standard form. The last type of equation, linear equation, is point slope. Point slope is the one that kind of looks the most unique. And what you do is you still have slope. Oops. But then you also have any point. And this doesn't need to be like with this equation where it has to be the point with 0. This can be any point. This can be any xy value. So if I had y plus 4 equals -1 over 2 times x minus 1. I know that my slope is -1/2. So it's going down 1 over 2. And my point, if you remember, I taught my students to do this crisscross. And when you crisscross it, change the signs like that. So it's telling me to start my graph at 1, -4. And then go down 1 over 2. You can even reverse that. And then put your line in. Sometimes point slope is nice, especially when your y-intercept isn't a whole number or an integer. Then you can actually work with, you can make your graph and make it accurate. You can also, if you're asked to make a graph that's in that form, you can always isolate y, put y alone, and turn it into slope-intercept. But those are our three forms: slope-intercept, standard form where you plot x and y, and you don't really use the slope, although you can find it, and point slope, where you have the slope at any point, not necessarily touching the y-axis.